Hello, everybody. It's Night Ghost back at it again with a new update on the Moba game mode. I just ran a playtest today. It wasn't as big as we had last time. It was only a 3v3. However, I think I can say that this new and improved game mode is a success. Later in the video, you will be seeing me talking over a demo of the game itself, and I think all the changes that I made were a substantial improvement over the last one. I'm going to go over the changes right now before we actually get into the MOBA and get into the playtest and discuss how it played, how it felt, and what I think the major improvements were. So yeah, let me just open up my document of all the updates and changes, and we can get started. All right. So last time we discussed a ton of things about the game mode, how fast it was, how chaotic it was, and how easy it was to do things like just backdoor your opponent's nexus, how easy it was to just do a bunch of bullshit that really wasn't intentional. So here is the update list. I'm just going to read it out to you about all the things that we kind of changed. First of all, I'm recording a video. Anyways, um, yeah, so one of the first major problems was the health of both the tower and the nexus. It was way too low. I think all the towers originally had 500 HP, just a flat set of 500 HP, and the nexus had only 700 HP. So I decided to bump all that up. First of all, the first tower in a lane was bumped up to 1,000 health, second tower in a lane to a 1,200 health, and then the nexus got what is called a, we're dubbing like the pre-nexus, or like the Nexus Defender, which is a crystal that has a roughly 2,325 health. And once that is destroyed, then you can destroy the Nexus. I think that this really set up a nice flow for the game. However, there were some problems with that, not related to it, that we'll get into later after the playtest. Second thing was a new alert system for better understanding of how the game mode was. So first of all, I worked with Sir Thomas to add what is we are dubbing the alert system. So for instance, every tower will now send out a message to both teams when they're being attacked, so that the team will know. Like it pops up as a little alert on your UI, and then it will also pop up in the text chat so that the players will know when their tower is being attacked. Also, the noise for a tower taking damage is also a lot louder, so that way players have a much better sense of what is going on around them and in the game, so that they understand how and when they lost. This worked out great. Players were actually communicating how good tower health is, how bad it was, so that players could get a really good sense. It ended up working great in the game mode. It was definitely a quality of life improvement. Another thing that we noticed from the last playtest was that money was way too easy to get. I just decided to cut it down a whole lot. Crystals went from having $200 per, now only are at a fourth, where they're now $50 per crystal. So now it's a whole lot harder to get guns really quickly. I think even by the 10-minute mark, uh, I think only one team ended up getting AKs, and it wasn't until pretty late into the game. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good improvement. I also increased the respawn times to a 10-second respawn wave. That ended up not being as long as I had wanted it to. It was still pretty quick, but it was in the end slower, so I think it ended up working out well. Yeah, I also fixed a bug where players could shoot through the buy doors and unlock guns. That's no longer there. You can't do that anymore. Um, what else did I do? Oh yeah, the reward for destroying a tower was also cut down from 2,300 to 1,000. I think that's a good number. I think it's just enough incentive because that's enough to get like a tier 1 if you destroy a tower. So if you just rush in and destroy a tower, you can unlock tier 1. So I think it's generally a good uh, thing. I added price tags to the armor and grenades so that people will know, even though they were slightly inaccurate. And I'll also discuss that later. Adjusted some cover, added some new areas. I also updated a completely new looking radar. I'm gonna show it like right here. It looks really nice, I think. It has a lot of information that was not previously accessible, like health pack locations, ammo replenish stations, tower positions, just all that you can quickly and easily gain from a glance. So, how did it play out? I think it worked really well. This new update. There were a couple of problems still, but I think that's more logistical and not really with the game mode itself. First problem that you might gonna see later is that the Negev and the M249 need to be in a higher tier, which is a little strange to say, but when we're talking about a game mode where shooting things with a gun is, especially at something with higher health, something like the PP Bison, which was previously a really bad gun, suddenly becomes really good when you consider how much ammunition it has. Even though it doesn't do a lot of damage, it can still do really well against something like a tower, because you could stay sitting on the part of a tower that you could shoot at with just a PP Bison, and it still works really well. And because of its low combat capabilities and not that high of a magazine size, it actually works and is actually really well balanced in the game mode. But the Negev and the M249 don't have that damage penalty and are still relatively good in combat, and they just shred towers in the Nexus and the Nexus Protector. They just shred it so fast. It's so easy to work with. It just bulldozes those things, and it was suggested to me that they should be in a higher tier, and I 100% agree. Even the AK and the M4s, they are purely combative. They are real. They are okay. They are okay at dealing with towers. However, I would say they're just as good as an MP9 or a MAC-10 at dealing with towers. The only main difference being that they are slightly better against the Nexus and the Nexus Protector, because the Nexus and the Nexus Protector have a damage threshold in order to attack it. So a weapon like the PP Bison or shotgun, because each bullet doesn't reach that damage threshold, they will not damage the Nexus or the Nexus Protector. The MAC-10 you have to get really close. The Glock you have to get really close in order to do that. So that makes them slightly better, but the Negev kind of ignores that. So it's, if you get an opening and you're just kind of back capping, like, there's very little that a team could do in order to really deal with it. It's really hard to deal with those weapons. So I'm going to be increasing their tier placement from here on. Maybe even the auto shotgun as well. I might increase what tier it is on as well, because shotguns are really strong in this because of their massive kill reward. Both the massive kill reward and how kind of close quarters the entire map is. I think I'm gonna end up scrapping the entire layout after this and continue it with a brand new layout with the same game mode. But yeah, the auto shotgun, really good combat effectiveness, and also with that high kill reward, I think I might be buffing, moving it up in the tiers. That was the two main ones. Another thing that people were suggesting were the Krieg and AUG's placement in the tiers, and maybe the AWP as well. The tier placements are something that we're going to have to slowly tweak over time to try to get a real balance of what weapons should be in what tier. But those are the main big ones, which would be moving the Negev and the auto shotgun up in the tiers due to how good they are at shredding towers and how hard it is to react to their presence, especially when they start shredding towers. What else? Well, next thing we really wanted to work on was the placement of the role of armor and grenades. The first thing is that they're super expensive right now. Like, it takes 1,000 just to get armor, so you're not really gonna see armor in the early game at all, because of like certain tiers like tier 2 is like tier 1 and 2 or 3 are super important, and those are all in the $1,000 range. So if you're going to spend, that's like a third of tier 3 if you spend $1,000 just to
I
get
think
that,
Dynasty still
or
runs
like
tier 3.
all that in that general area. So $1,000 just is a really a lot, or like even the Molotov is $400. So they were posting some ideas. I had a friend of mine who plays a lot of Smite. I
Oh,
think
I
he
have
has a
an
couple
idea.
thousand hours in Smite. Um, Suggested to
Okay, yeah,
that
let's
maybe
play into
things like
the
grenades and armor could be an
Sounds
interesting
not
way
too
to
bad.
implement them into jungles, so that you could have an armor camp or a
For that, like
Molotov
70
camp or
frames
smoke
in
camp,
That's probably
1080p.
so
and
good.
that would be an interesting way to put them onto the battlefield
we
so that you could fight for them, and then for a minute or so,
Wait, there's
you
like a
every
key
time
on the
you
hotel here,
respawn with
by
a
the way.
smoke,
Never checked it.
Molotov, or an armor. And I thought that was a really good idea. I might try to
One
do
here.
that if I can figure out
Can I
how
see
to
you
do
run right
that
to R, right?
within the V scripting. I'm still very new to this V scripting process. I've pretty much just
It's
taken
P9.
got a
what
second
Thomas
life
has
to
sent
go.
me, and then I studied it, and then I kind of like take chunks that I think work, and then I kind of move it
I
around a
wish
little
I
bit,
was streaming
trying to
this
figure it
design.
all out. It's a really
Because I just
weird
wanted to.
process that I kind of got myself into, but maybe I could do it if
Wait,
I
what
could
do you
just
take
Run,
figure it
run,
out.
Molotov for
run.
armor?
The next suggestion was
If
around
you
the
keep shooting,
ammo
that's okay.
drops. The first suggestion that was made was the fact that it's kind of weird to press a button
We cannot
and get all the
put the
ammunition rather
weapon
than
into
when
the
we already
thing.
have health
Wait,
pack.
why
Why
not the
not have
person?
an ammo pack that
Nothing
you
of
can
Ah,
pick
damage.
up and you gain a
He
certain amount of
tried
ammo and
to
then it takes a
mention
Then
certain amount of time to
that's
Artemis.
respawn?
no.
Thought that was a good idea.
Can we hit it with the next
Since
one?
I already have the files for the ammo packs and the first aids, maybe I could
How much money did you guys have?
implement them
Someone
um,
said
via like looking at the code
I have
itself, creating like a new V script and kind of changing it
way
around a little
less
bit for an
and
instance.
medicines.
Um, but we'll have to see about that. Oh, I was talking about grenades, right? I'm probably gonna make grenades way cheaper in the future, maybe like in the $100, $150 range. Because if you get a kill, that
What?
could be like 3, 2, maybe
What the
one
fuck was
grenade,
that?
and if you that's like a couple of crystals. Crystals are kind of now much less of a factor
I
now
doubt
that they're
shotguns actually work
only
for the plasma
50
tower.
bucks, but I maybe might buff them up to like 75. I think they're in an okay spot right now. Right now, I think getting pure frags is the main way of getting money in the game mode. What else? Also, Zaire seemed to be very annoyed in this playtest. I do want to try running a playtest with a lot more players, but today, unfortunately, a lot of people were just at either at work or just weren't home. Like there were just a lot of people who were doing things. So I may try playtesting on a Saturday or something, where a lot less people may be off work and off their shifts.
I knew it was
So,
missing.
or like out of school. I think Saturday might be
I
a
had the
good
same thing
time
today.
and place. Unfortunately, I will be leaving. I won't
Okay.
be to do a little
I'm going to
vacation
Wait,
join
for
the Twitch already.
past the
that's
weekend, so I
it's
can't
really
do it
easy to
this
get rid of.
Saturday. Maybe a different Saturday. I might bring a laptop to try to work on the
Wait,
stuff, but
I
the
thought I didn't
laptop I'm
lose mine
using
when you died.
is
No,
There's six.
I had
old
like
as
6 then,
shit.
I swear.
Like
Anyway,
just this is the battery pack. Look how big
I
that thing
fucking
is.
killed me.
Look at look at the size. This was my great grandpa's
Since when can you fucking
laptop
accent two shooting
that
from the
was
ledge?
left to me when he passed away. So, yeah.
Did you not buy any of this?
Okay, the accent should get fucking plus tier
Um,
9.
what else was I going
Get
to
mad if
talk
you
about?
destroy the tower.
Also, cool thing that really happened was that two of the playtesters, that
Oh,
being
fuck off.
Toland, also known as Brokina, and Umbrella, were actually interested in trying to
I
take
really
the
hope
game
I
mode
do
that,
90%
that I like, the
damage.
game mode itself, and having me send
Wait,
over
what
some of
are
the
you doing
files,
now?
and
He's
then
sitting there
like
waiting.
all the setup and the
I want to
pre-setup
put someone
stuff,
else
like just
spawn.
the towers itself, sending it to them and seeing what they
Yeah,
can do with
that's
the
it now.
game mode, which I think was
Wait,
really
wait,
cool.
okay,
The
good.
main thing that I was
Okay.
like really concerned about was that this game mode was
Oh, there goes
super
their top crystal.
ratty. Like people just kind of,
Okay.
because the
I have
HP was so
wait,
low, people were just kind of sitting in corners and then waiting, and then someone would peek with utility and then just kind of shoot them in the face.
I still don't have
So
armor that it takes to
that
get
could be a
super
lack
close
of
to the bomb.
inexperience with such a new game mode and concept, but I think that's also
Someone
can
is
be
here
fixed with the
close.
map design. I think going forward, I think I'm gonna, like I said, scrap
I hear one
Phoenix
by the side
Canyon,
too.
but try to make a new map where we're gonna have lanes that are not ratty at all, like just very simple, not like cover that you can kind of just like gremlin behind, but more a very simple cover that you can clear very quickly and easily,
Near Zaire.
so that players won't have to worry that much of their own towers. But then having jungles that are slightly more ratty, that will have important things like grenade camps
He's far
or
on me. Nice.
armor camps, that type of stuff. I think that's where I'm going to be taking it forward in the future. Um, what else? Yeah, I think that that's probably going to be the future of the game, on having very simple lane design, which is kind of how games like League of Legends or Smite do it. It's just the lanes very straightforward. It's literally like a line with no cover on it. So I think that's what we're gonna do, because like, well, not it's not going to be a line, right? But it's going to have very simple cover that's very quick and easy to clear, that, well, at least for when you're pushing out, so that you don't have to like worry about like getting shot from a corner, right? That's kind of how it's going to be. Um, yeah. Uh, so I'm probably going to be working on not like implementing these very quickly, especially since I'm going to have to make a whole new map layout for it. I'm very curious to see what Umbrella and Toland will do with the game mode idea. I'm going to probably in very soon reopen up the map file, create a new save, like to make sure and work everything together, and then like separate everything out so that they can like look at it and then try making their own kind of map designs for it. I'm very curious to see how they will interpret it, how they will lay it out. Uh, yeah, that's kind of it really. It was a pretty solid playtest. I would be curious to see if we had an actual 5v5, because we still haven't done a 5v5 playtest yet. Not in this game mode. Um, Still kind of working on it right now. Like, we haven't. There are some players who probably won't even do it. Like Forsaken thinks the game mode is way too cursed and will not join playtests with the game mode, which is unfortunate, because I think I have something going here, and I think people like it, with the exception of Zaire, who happened to die in a lot of precarious situations. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I would like to see where the future of the game mode is, and I will keep going until we achieve that. Um, but you know, as a just a little tidbit, as a map creator, it's really exciting when you create something like a game, like a new game mode, and then hearing somebody say, "Hey, can you send me like the files to this? I kind of want to like try it out, like see what I can create myself." And I'm like, "That's so cool! Hell yeah, yeah! I'll give you the stuff. Like here, take it. I want to see what you do with it." I mean, I kind of want to be a little bit like me, a little bit like credited, like well, at least Thomas should be credited at the very least, because he's done pretty much all the V scripting that makes this even possible. Like the tower health HP, the tower, like he pretty much reworked towers themselves. He's got the Nexus protector, the buy room itself, like the tier based buy room, that was him. Uh, I just did all the simple layouts and stuff. I mean, I had the idea. The idea. Yeah, I should get credit because I had the idea. I didn't do any of the work, but I had the idea. Yeah. So really cool. I think that also was really cool was that the playtest was a lot longer. I can't tell is that's because we had a lot less players, and I also am curious to see if we actually did have a 5v5, if it would be a less ratty game mode. That's what I'm curious about. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I would consider this a highly successful playtest of the game mode. Yeah, I don't know if the playtest is done or not. But yeah, this is I'm gonna continue with this. I'm gonna see how far I can go. I'm probably gonna have less time though, because in a month's time I will be in school, and tomorrow I'm going into an interview for a job. I have no clue if I'll get the job. I think I might. It's a night shift position, so I'm very quickly gonna have a lot less time to do the things that I want. I mean, considering the fact that I I've been playing a lot of melee. I've been grinding melee. I want to do melee tournaments more often. I want to I want to do melee tournaments like at least twice a week. One LOM, one guild house. I want to, I want to go to school. I want to learn all that, and I eventually want to move out of the house once I have enough money. So, it's a lot of things happening at the same time. I want to work on I want to work on the mapping. I want to work on the game. I want to be a better player. I want to make money. I want to learn. It's all this stuff. It's a really interesting time of my life. I just have no clue what the hell is going on. I have all these wants and I have all these desires, but it's ways to improve, but it's just hard to focus on my face. There we go. I have all these things I want to do, but not enough time to do it. So, anyways, this has been Nyko's 1400. I will continue to work on this game mode. I've said that like 5 times. But yeah, see you guys in the next video when I show hopefully either either my map or maybe Umbrella map, Toland map. Who knows? See ya.